right, man. What about Klay Thompson? I read an article talking about the Pistons possibly can get Klay Thompson if they lose Beasley, um, and get Klay Thompson here or lose Tim Hardaway Jr. And that's assuming that I guess they're not interested in Trey Murphy or they're not interested in Cam Johnson. They can't get those guys. Um, Obviously, Joe Dumars came on and said that he's not trading Zion Williamson, which I mean, um, like I said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same results. So let the Pelicans be insane, right? Um, but yeah, as far as Klay Thompson, I'm gonna be mad at it. I mean, I feel like he can do at least what Tim Hardaway Jr. did last year. Probably at a little bit higher level. I think it's pretty cool. I like Klay. Um, Good shooter. I mean, selfless guy. I didn't like the comment he made when KD got hurt in that Rocket series when it was the Warriors. Somehow we can play the way we used to play. I think but rightfully so. He made a lot of sacrifices on that team. He guarded the toughest player, especially when KD came there. He took another backseat from Steph to Klay to KD. So, naturally, you're going to feel some type of way. But I think he's a good locker room guy. I think it's a good way to end his career in Detroit. Why not? Um, you know, uh, yeah, why not? You can go in there with K and Klay and Ivy. I don't think that's a real bad cancellation prize, honestly, bro. Well, CJ, you said no Kevin Durant, but Klay Thompson won't be as expensive too. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a good situation. I think even with moving with Klay, you still would have access to go ask somebody else. Whether it's a Nas, it's probably can find a way in a Nas Reed or Bobby Portis. I still think you can still make, you still can make a play for Trey Murphy. I feel like you still can make a play for Devin Booker in those situations. So it's a lot. It's a lot to be had. And legitimately, I mean, bringing Klay here that allows Sar Thompson to stay in the starting lineup. That allows you to go with K, however you want to look at it, Asar, Klay. I mean, assuming Tobias here, whether it's Tobias or Nas Reed, you know what I'm saying? So that allows you a lot of flexibility right then and there. You know what I'm saying? Or whether it's Ivy and Cade and Klay, you know what I'm saying? And you think you can get away with Thompson playing the four. I mean, however you really legitimately want to spin it, Klay's a great fit. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he gonna come off the bench. But in that starting lineup, he can give you what Tim Hardaway Jr. gave you. But at the end of the day, I think if you bring a guy like that in, then what's the move? Then you got a decision to make. If you keep Ivy and Asar Thompson, okay, then what's the move there? Who gonna get the nine? Obviously, the conventional wisdom might say Ivy because he can shoot, but Klay can shoot, K can shoot, Tobias can shoot. During he may or may not be in the mix. So I think that'll be an interesting fit. And I think you still have enough firepower to go out there and probably make another trade or two. Honestly. But if you were to lose Beasley and Schroeder and Tim Hardaway Jr., really, really at that point, and at that point, I don't think you would trade Tobias for Klay Thompson. And maybe that's may what happened. That may be what happens. Maybe that's what they do. Tobias for Klay Thompson straight up. Okay, let's just say hypothetically that happens. And you say, well, we can bring in Nas Reed to fill that spot. Just say hypothetically, have Ron Hollis being in training for that spot behind him, right? So then you look at your floor, you got Ivy, you got Asar Thompson still. You lost Schroeder, you lost Beasley, you lost Tim Hardaway Jr., but you replaced Tim Hardaway Jr. with, it kind of sounds kind of low. With Klay Thompson. So now you got to find a way to replace Beasley. You got to find a time to replace Dennis Schroeder. Now getting Ivy back, you can say, okay, maybe that may replace Beasley, but then you still need another guy that can get you a bucket off that bench, and maybe you can go out there and get a Ty Jerome. But then you say, well, who's gonna be the next ball handler? So then you got to go out there and see if you can get another point guard. So it's gonna be a lot of work to be done. So that's the thing about trades. You know what I'm saying? Like when you lose guys in transitions, you got to fill those spots. So can they afford to lose Tim, Schroeder, and Beasley? I don't think so. Bare minimum, you bring Schroeder back. Some stability off the bench. In a way, you probably need to bring Schroeder and Beasley back. That give you a good bench. You know, either you're gonna have Ivy or Ron coming off the bench. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna either have Ivy or Ron coming off the bench, and Ron, Schroeder, Beasley, Ivy or Thompson coming off the bench. That's a straight. You know, hopefully Sasser develop. In that scenario, yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how they really want to how they want to do this. But I think Klay's a great. I think that's a really good fit. I would do it. Basically, you know, get a deal done for Klay, get a trade for Klay, play Klay right in there at the 3, and really the backcourt is the question. Who gonna be in the backcourt? Ivy probably got an edge because he can shoot. Asar got an edge because he can do everything else. So it's gonna be interesting, very interesting. How who gonna be here, who not gonna be here? Will they go for a name or not go for a name? Will they go for Niles? Will they try to go for Trey Murphy? Will they try to add a McCollum? Will they try to add a Ja, a Trey, a Devin Booker? Will they try to add a Kevin Durant? It's gonna be interesting. But Klay Thompson, I think, would be a good fit for them. I think Dallas is a little bit old. They in the more, you know, Kyrie coming off knee injury, Anthony Davis always injured. You know, Klay, you know, is in the twilight of his career. So really, does he really need to be in that situation? I think Klay needs to be around younger guys to keep him young. You know, I think it'd be a great fit for him in Detroit. The spacing that he would get, the selflessness that is not, you know, not no ball hogging. We move the ball. You know, he know how to play in the ball movement offense, and they're gonna depend on him. So I mean, yeah, you can go out there and get a Klay, and you know, find somebody like a Trey Murphy and Nas and Bobby Portis, and see what happens. So yeah, I like Klay to Detroit, and I might be in the minority there, but yeah, I like Klay in Detroit. I think that's a good move. It's a good move for him. His championship experience and grit, you put him in you know, put it in there with them. If you add a Portis, his championship experience and grit is something that you don't kind of get with Schroeder and Billy Beasley, and I don't think Beasley won a championship with Hardaway. Kind of don't get with those guys, but you know, if they can add a Klay, you know, and they can add a Portis, a Nas Reed, or Trey Murphy, or something like that, and even Cam Johnson played the 3 a little bit. I mean, played the 4. He played it in Phoenix. You can add those. I think that's solid. But I think only question at that point you really ask is who won the heavyweight fight between Jaden Ivey and Asar Thompson. That's really the true question. Now then, in reality, let's just talk about this part. In reality, you can go Ivy, K, Thompson, Tobias, whoever be the 4, and Durant, and you know, it's cool. You cool with that? In reality, you can say, okay, let's just see how that works because Ivy shoot the ball better. In reality, you can roll that out next season and see how it works. But you know, I don't think that's what it's gonna be. But hey, check out Detroit Pistons Talk playlist. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications. Increase your chance to get notifications. We go live or drop video financially. What's worth the channel? Cash App, $ CJ Good 313, Venmo CJ Good 313, PayPal link description. Appreciate the love and support. Let me know what you girls guys think in the comment section. Peace.